So I'm trying to stay on track, okay? Because this is too much. Like, this is too much. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Tonight, this is Late Night Talk with the girl, Cache. So yeah, this should be interesting. So as you guys see, I got the mood set with Cache's candles. Check out my store. This one is coffee and it smells so good. But yeah, you know, it's late and I got a little wine, you know, my sweet cranberry. And we're just gonna sit here and talk about my timeline of my children. Now y'all may be like, well, timeline of her kids, well, you just gonna say when they was born? No. We're gonna get into a little tea on how I have two you know, different fathers. At first I was ashamed, like, okay, you know what? I've never saw this in my picture. I dislike that my kids have, you know, last names and, you know, just two babies' fathers. But I was like, okay, you know what? I tried, I moved on, I had another baby. It is what it is. Not gonna say everybody, but a lot of people do. They move on, they have a family with somebody else, and it is what it is. So this is my timeline. Because I know a lot of people be wondering, they just probably don't want to say nothing. But yeah, so my daughter has, you know, her father, Chico, of course. Rest in peace to Chico. And then I moved on because of the issues we were having when we were younger. And I met someone else and then had my middle son, Jeremiah. So then, as time passed, that didn't work. And me and Chico got back together down the line and then had our son, Iman. So it probably seemed like I was going back and forth in between them, but no. I moved on from Chico. You know, we had what we had. He had to learn, I had to learn. And then with, you know, my son's father, my middle child with his father, of course, you know, we were young. Again, tried it out. It didn't work. I went my way, he went his way. And then later, me and Chico was like, okay, we're going to give it a try. And we did. So I just put that in a general perspective, but I did have to like make an outline because I didn't want to sit here all night rambling. So if y'all see me glancing at my paper, it's just because I'm trying to get to the point and keep it moving. So yeah, so let me know how y'all feel as far as these late night talks, you know, going into a little tea. Get your wine, your water, whatever it is that you drink. I got my water and we're gonna get into how stuff happens even though we don't plan it, because stuff happens. And let me know, do you have multiple children as far as their parents? And you know, are you married to one of them? Are you divorced? Are you guys still together? Did you move on? Did you have more kids? Put it down in the section below. So let's get into it. So I call it a little drama because it was, but I met Chico when I was 12 years old. Of course, no, we didn't do anything. But you know, he was cute, and you know, we was a little boyfriend, girlfriend, nothing serious. And come on now, I was 12, he was 14, and come on now, we weren't thinking about no relationship. So he went his way, I went my way, and yeah. He and his people moved like to a whole nother like side of town, and then my mom moved. So we were off and on, of course, as far as just like talking, like just having each other's number, like it never changed, and him just checking up on me and me doing the same thing and just keeping in contact over the years. Nothing serious, nothing serious. So Chico and I did link back up when I was 16. Yeah, don't judge me. But yeah, I got pregnant the first time we ever had sex. Like the first time. Like me and Chico never did anything before this, and he got me pregnant. Got me pregnant on purpose. And you know, 16 and pregnant, unfortunately. Not unfortunately in a bad way, but just unfortunate being a teenager and pregnant and already struggling in life. So, of course, I had to tell my mom, my stepdad, and, you know, they were disappointed in me. I was disappointed in myself, but I could not get rid of what was inside of me, the life that was inside of me, which was a daughter, which was my baby. And to be honest with you, Chico was gone. He went about his business. Not to put him out as a bad guy, but he was young. He was that good-looking young man who had all the girls, who had the game, he was out there. He was out there. So yeah, popped me off, went about his business, and I went about my business. So going about my business meant that I was going to raise my daughter by myself if I had to and love her. And as foolish as it sounds, because every child is supposed to have their father in their life, of course, both parents, but I didn't care. He went about his business, I went about mine, like I said, and I eventually met someone. 16 and pregnant, right? Meeting someone, like, come on now. So excuse me if I keep saying, it's a habit that a lot of people that I see speak, especially when it's a long story and you're trying to get the facts right. You're trying to get straight to the point, but it's a lie. And we be like, and I'll be watching interviewers like, yes, I do that too. Man, we got to stop. But y'all know what we're talking about. So I basically said, I think he moved on, I moved on. And meeting my second baby's father, told him I was pregnant and told him if he didn't want to stay that I understood, but I really liked him and, let me know. Yes, I know that sounds very forward, but I was just like, hey, I'm pregnant. And I was just like, he ain't gonna stay with me. We still brand new. We young. I'm talking about 16. I think he was 17. This boy ain't gonna stay with me. So surprisingly, he stood by my side. I'm talking about, just being there. If I needed a pair of shoes, he made sure he gave me the money. And I was just like, I wasn't used to that. I was like, okay, not that I was using him, not that I needed any of that, but he was just so sweet to me. And he was like, hey, I can go to doctor's appointments with you. I can do this, I can do that. No, he wasn't a sucker. No, he wasn't none of that. It's just, you could just tell that he was a nice gentleman, that, he liked me, I liked him, and it was what it was. So let me make sure I stay on the timeline so I don't go off. So yeah, I told him I was pregnant. He stayed, and I thanked him. Told him, you don't have to take care of her financially. She's not your responsibility. But of course, if we're together, I want you to be a part of her life. Just be there for her and, be a role model and somebody she can look up to. Hold on, y'all, my lips getting dry. Okay, so Chico and I barely talk. We probably talk once every blue moon. And it was him just kind of playing, just like, oh, how my baby doing? Bro, I ain't talked to you. I ain't seen you. What do you want? So, of course, me and Jeremiah's father, we were doing good. Like I said, I was, my little belly was growing. He was there. He was very sweet. And he was being, I'm not going to say a man yet, but he was going towards that because we were both still teenagers. But the qualities he possessed were of a man. So I appreciated everything he did. So like I said, Chico and I barely talk. I probably seen Chico, and not on no disrespectful stuff like cheating or going behind, my boyfriend at the time's back. Chico was like, hey, may I come to a doctor's appointment with you? And, I was like, yeah, you can go to a doctor's appointment with me to check on, Kanaya. He came to one doctor's appointment. He basically was just nonchalant. He was just like on his phone, I think with a girl. I didn't care because we weren't together, and my attitude was already like, oh, I love this gentleman that I'm with. I really don't care about, Chico being here or not. And like I said, he was young, so don't sit here and make him out to be something like, the present Chico when I was with him when he passed away, okay? So he was young, wild, and crazy. Like I said, he attended one doctor's appointment with me. Young, father that was just like, okay, I got a baby on the way. It is what it is. But, yeah, I was still happy with, my boyfriend at the time. And then 2008, September 6th, I had my baby. So, like I said, I probably seen Chico once or twice throughout my whole pregnancy, and probably talked to him once or twice throughout my whole pregnancy. That's almost a year. Like, come on now. But like I said, I was good. I was good where I was at. I had a supportive boyfriend. I had his family that loved me, that respected me, even though I was a teenager in their house pregnant. Like, come on now. Now that's love, okay? So yeah, I had Kanaya September 6th, 2008, and I didn't care to call him. I didn't care to let him know that, she was coming in this world. My mother actually called his people, and was like, hey, Shay having a baby. I looked at her like, bro, did you really just call him? Did you really just call him? So I know it sounds crazy, but I did not allow him to the hospital. I don't even know if he would have came. He probably would have came, but he probably would have left immediately. Like, okay, I saw my baby. I'm going to take a couple pictures with her, and I'm bouncing. Sad as it is, but that was his mentality back in the day. When, like I said, when he was that pretty boy that was out there wild and just doing his thing, man, he had him. He had him. Yeah, I denied our access to the hospital. I did not talk to him on the phone. And I don't know if it was his other family members, but I believe it was him. He blew down the hospital line. And I was just in my head, like, I just blocked all that out. I just wanted to embrace my time with my baby. So it was just me and my mother. And then eventually my stepfather and my stepbrothers came up to see Kanaya. So 2 days later, I came home. And that's when my boyfriend at the time came to my stepfather's house where I was staying. And he came to see Kanaya. So I'm trying to stay on track, okay? Because this is too much. Like, this is too much. So, I'm trying to get to the point, because I see I'm going into details, and that's okay, but I'm trying to get to the point. So, me and the gentleman were doing fine. I was just like, hey, our relationship is going to be different. Now I have a baby to attend to. Now it's just not me and you. And he was like, he was still there. He was still there. He even was watching him and his sister and his mom while I got my first job at McDonald's. While I got my first job. And his mother watched Kanaya while I went to school. So I was able to graduate top 20. Top 20. Come on now. Who is pregnant at 16, gets a small scholarship to a college, and graduate top 20? I was on my ish. Happy. I was in love. I was 17. And even though life was not perfect and I didn't know what was next, I was ready for whatever. So I did allow Chico to see her, because I fast forwarded a little bit about my life and graduating and everything. But when Kanaya was about a good month and a half too, somewhere around there, I did allow him to see her. Like I said, it was never nothing where we were together or we were flirting. He would call and say, hey, may I see her? And I'd be like, okay, yes. So he bought her some diapers, some clothes, and some little shoes. And his family saw her. And that was basically it. Unfortunately, he got locked up a couple months later. So going down this list, he got locked up. I didn't really care. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't. I was like, well, he wasn't around me when I was pregnant. He was doing his thing. And me being young, I didn't say, oh, that's what he get. But I was just like, karma. It may be his karma. I mean, like I said, I didn't know. I didn't wish no bad on him. He, he did what he did, and he got arrested. So I continued on with my life, continued on with graduating. And that's it. So close to Kanaya's first birthday, guess what? Just guess. I found out I was pregnant. Yes, me and my boy. Dang. Like, of course, we were having sex, and it wasn't protected or whatever. And I think it happened like right after prom, because it happened right after prom. Basically, right after we graduated high school. So I think I was 18 and he was 19. So everything was okay. But then after we graduated, things started to get real rocky. So being pregnant and, you know, this gentleman is working. He's about to attend college, and then I'm sitting there pregnant. Now living with him in his mom's house, and things started to hit rock bottom, for real. So yeah, I believe it was too much for him. I believe that I came into this gentleman's life too fast with too much responsibility, and now he was about to have a child of his own, meaning now 2 kids, now a girl. I'm trying to work. He was working for the Park District. He was attending Robert Morris University, and he was doing good. He was doing good for the most part, but I think, like, he started to feel himself. The girls was, when people see you with someone, they never, at first, they don't even, like, necessarily think about you. Y'all cool, but as soon as they see you happy and doing your thing, and now you got a nice car because your parents gifted you a nice car because you graduated, and now everybody flocking to you. Everybody. So now, he started to feel himself, and I'm like, okay, he started to leave me in the house, and this was close to Jeremiah being born. I'm like, okay, cool. You know what? I'm living with him. I'm just going to be quiet for a little while, and, I was hurt. I was hurt because I don't know what he was doing, but you could just tell something was off. So I ain't going to put him out and say he was doing nothing, but something was going on. So yeah, so I finally had Jeremiah, and it got to the point where I needed help, and he was like, bro, this too much. I said, okay. I got up and I moved out with a broken heart, with tears in my eyes. 2 children. I think I was 19, 20 at the time. I packed everything up, thanked his family for everything, and went to sleep on my cousin's couch with 2 kids. Yes, he was still there, but since I guess it was too much for him, he broke my heart, and we just, the way I left and the way the arguments kept going, we kept butting heads, so we was at war. I know I was. And he probably was just like, bro, I just want to move on. You doing too much. But I was heartbroken. He went into a whole nother relationship. A whole nother relationship. A whole nother relationship. So basically, I had to get my stuff back together. I couldn't stay at my cousin's house on my couch, so I went back to my stepfather's house. He was very irritated. Like, I told you about having kids young. I told you to go to school. I told you this. I told you to do that. And now look, you right back at my house with 2 kids. Chico gone. Now, your second baby's father is gone doing him. And he wasn't like being hard on me, but he was just like, I told you all of this. You didn't listen. And I love you and I'm going to allow you in, but you got to get on your stuff now. So I started getting on my stuff. I did. I got my first apartment. I was so happy. Yes, it wasn't, like no top tier, nothing, but it was a 1-bedroom. It was nice. I was doing my thing. I was working. I was attending college. I was happy. So as time passed, me and my child's father, my second child's father, because like I said, Chico was incarcerated at this time from 2008 all the way to 2014. So I am living my life, doing me. And, one day I was just sitting looking at my daughter like, okay, you know what? Me and my son's father got into an argument one day, and he was just like, hey, I'm not taking care of no child that's not mine. It hurt, but I said, okay, cool. So foolishly, I took my daughter to go see her father. And now that I look at it, I'm not mad at myself, but I did introduce my daughter into that system, into that life. But she also got to build a relationship with her father. She also got to just smile. And it's like, you would think she knew him all her life. The way her face lit up, the way her soul, the way she cried. And even though I didn't want to introduce her to that life, now today I'm glad that I did. So yeah, I took Kanaya up there to meet her father. I really can't say when, but it was like, because I fast forwarded a little bit saying I moved on with life, of course, all of that, but it had to be 2011, something like that. just bear with me. It had to be around that time because Jeremiah was born 2010. It had to be 2011. So I took her up there and I never left his side. So me and him did basically, I'm gonna say I fell for that jail love. I was so miserable on the outside, even though I was living my life. I had my own apartment. I was alone and I was raising 2 kids. Yes, my son's father was still there, but like I said, I couldn't stand him, he couldn't stand me, and at the end of the day, I had to take care of 2 kids by myself. So I was angry at the world. As far as like, okay, you know what? You incarcerated. He just doing his thing. Like, I was lonely. So I basically, and I'm going to put this in the most respectful way that I can, because a lot of people going to look, a lot of people going to judge. But at the end of the day, we knew what we had, and I'm talking about me and Chico, and we knew what it was. And to be honest with you, a lot of men want to say, oh, I'll hold you down. You know, they want to be a papoose, even though they not, because they not about that life. But I don't think Chico would have held me down as far as, you know, being faithful to me 100% if the shoe was on the other foot. So what I'm saying is, even though I was still there for him, I was there for him mentally, physically, as far as making sure he had somebody to write. If I had a couple dollars, I sent it to him because he know I couldn't really afford to do that. I had bills. I had 2 kids. I was struggling a little bit with, you know, everything that was happening in my life while trying to do my best. So, you know, I was there for him. Yes, we were saying like, hey, when you get out, I'm going to be here. I'm going to love you. We're going to be together. But at the end of the day, I still had to live my life respectfully. So what I'm trying to say is we had an understanding. No, I didn't necessarily was like, oh, I'm just about to go do me. But at the end of the day, I knew he had a little stuff going on as far as people sending him money and little females up there, you know, talking, because I done ran into one or two, or received a letter that they sent to him and he sent to me, all type of messy stuff. So what I'm saying is I still had respectful fun on the outside, along with still being there for him, still letting him see his daughter, still being a girl at the end of the day, because it was no guarantees. People could judge me like, you wasn't no ride or die. I didn't have no ring on my finger. There were no guarantees when he got out. And when he got out, there was a situation where it was like, you know what, I can't do this. You walking into the world and you haven't been around women for almost 6 years, you know, come on now. So yeah, a lot of people judged me like, yeah, she was doing her, leave her alone. No, we had an understanding. And at the end of the day, I forgave him for his past mistakes, and he forgave me for anything that I did that may have hurt him. But yeah, I mean, like I said, even though he kind of, you know, just said F me when I was pregnant and his daughter some way, somehow, it's like seeing him in that situation. I didn't feel sorry for him, but I started seeing like somebody that was like so lost back in his day, because I knew I was too, but somebody that was so lost and that we just needed each other, even if we didn't end up together. So all those years of going to see him and still being there for him, regardless of what me and him was doing, as far as, you know, trying to survive and living our different lives separately, he came home May 1st, 2014, and like I said, it was a rocky start, you know, being incarcerated, coming into the new world, you know, being with one woman. And, you know, it was rocky. It was like, can we do this? Can you do this? And it was a mess. But eventually it got to the point where I was like, you know what? I know I'm not perfect and I know you're not perfect. But either we're going to be together, we're going to raise Kanaya and Jeremiah, or we're just gonna go our separate ways, honey. Like, I get it. I love you. You love me. But maybe we're not ready. Now, I ain't gonna front. I'm not saying he was perfect or nothing. I'm not saying none of that. But when I told him that, and I was really serious this time because I was fed up with his attitude and him just, you know, thinking he finna do with him again, I was like, you know what? Even though I stood by your side, but still respectfully was living my life, I never left you. As far as you had a friend, you had somebody that told you to keep your head up, even when I didn't feel like keeping my head up. So when he saw that I was serious and stood by him even when I didn't have to, he was like, man, you right, Cache. That man got his act together. He got a job. He was taking care of those bills. He got a car. He got 2 raises within like 6 months. He was on his stuff. He started doing more stuff as far as like, hey, Cache, it's date night. Let's let me and you about to go out. He started just being a man. Of course, his teenage years into his incarcerated years and then getting out, it wasn't going to be perfect. But I was willing to work with him and he was willing to work with me. And that's all that mattered at the end of the day. So guess what? Ooh, I just hurt my nose right. So guess what? Yes, y'all already know. Oh my goodness. So he got out 2014. I had Iman in 2015. So yeah, he popped me out pretty early. I did cry because I'm like, I mean, of course, again, having sex with my partner, unprotected, we're together, I got pregnant. I cried my heart out. I'm like, what am I gonna do with 3 kids? You know, we just not getting our acts together. You know, we young, we struggling. You know, I know you still recovering from being incarcerated. I know it's a lot on you. I know it's a lot on me, but 3 kids, Chico? 3 kids? I cried so hard. But when I tell you, Chico was so amazing. Like I said, the man he was, from the little boy that I met and going through hell and high water with him, I fell in love with him all over again. Because it's like, bruh, I've been knowing you since I was 12. And even though I couldn't stand you, now I can't live without you. Now you're everything. Now these kids love you. Now we have a family. A family. So yeah, I'm getting emotional and shit. Let me stop crying. Hold on. Okay, so had Iman, my 3rd baby, and this is the timeline of how I went from Chico to my 2nd child's father back to Chico. No, Chico wasn't a rebound. It was just, you know what, let me get answers from Chico while he's incarcerated on why he left Kanaya and I, why he did me so dirty, until I'm sitting there asking him that and then falling in love with him all over again. So, of course, he apologized and, you know, just basically did as he saw growing up. And, you know, I couldn't hold that against him forever. So, we had our Iman, his baby boy, and it was beautiful. Like I said, we were a normal couple. We did have our problems, but we took care of those kids. He paid those bills. I worked, he worked. We were happy. We were happy. So, you know, we were still a normal couple, still had, you know, our little problems, not too big where it was to the point where it was like, you know what, I can't do this no more. He was a man. And as many of you know, he passed away 2016. So most of his life, you know, it wasn't well. He's been incarcerated. He got out 2014. And a lot of people would assume that, okay, he went back to that street life. No, he didn't. He was doing good for himself. And it's just unfortunate that we stayed in that neighborhood where they were at war that we really didn't know nothing about. And basically, they thought he was somebody else. And it's like my whole life changed in a blink of an eye. I was happy. I had my man. I had my kids. They had their father. Everything was going good. My son's father was still in his life, but like I said, I was happy. I was doing my thing. He was doing his thing, and I had my family. So for Chico to pass away 2 years after me finally getting him back and him growing up and becoming the man that he became broke me down, because we had a lifetime to live together. We had a lifetime of plans. He was supposed to raise these babies with me. My daughter finally got her father and he was snatched away just like that. And my Iman was only 7 months old. So yeah, I don't mean to get emotional, but that last part, it hit me, because it's like, even though it seems like, okay, I went from Chico to my son's father to Chico. No, it wasn't like I was like running in between them. Chico moved on with his life. He was doing him when he was younger. I moved on with my life. I was happy. That didn't work out. And then me and Chico gave it a try again. And it was beautiful up until the day he passed. So, yeah, that's my timeline. That's my tea. But this all just comes to just say, you know, embrace people while they're in your life. I don't care if you got 3, you know, baby mamas, baby daddies. Those kids are your kids. Make sure you just get along and take care of them, because, you know, if one parent leaves, it's gonna be hard mentally and physically. And I miss Chico. We miss Chico so much that it's unexplainable. But yeah. So comment down below. I hope that was very informative to y'all. I usually don't open up about stuff about my personal life, but you know, come on now, we human. If you have more than one baby's father, it's okay. You know, we move on in life. Sometimes stuff don't work out, and in the end, at the end of the day, we still take care of those kids. And let's just say I get married down the line and he wants a baby. I don't know about that, but see, do you see how it's gonna seem like, okay, she had this child's father, she had that, but we never know what's gonna happen in our life. So what I'm trying to say is just make sure y'all take care of them kids. Yeah, this is my late night talk with my candle. I love it. It smells so good. That is coffee over there. I got my little wine. No, I'm not tipsy. I didn't mean to get emotional. I just had to just come on here and just chit chat with y'all. Y'all let me know if y'all like this video, if y'all want more content of me respectfully telling y'all stuff about me, but not getting too deep and too personal. So let me know down in the comments, okay? Talk to y'all in the next video. Bye.